Agriculture fair at the moment is the EU's top agricultural producer, but Germany is catching up fast. Its agricultural exports have doubled over the last decade, amounting to just over 65 million euros in 2013. So what's behind Germany's success? Well, a growing expansion in productivity, with farmland, farms and barns all growing in size. Our team in Germany went to visit one such industrial mega-farm.
Reinhard Schlipper comes from a small farming family. After settling in East Germany after the fall of the wall, he found out about the larger farms that were a legacy of communism. Today he runs one of these cooperatives in the state of Brandenburg, and his tasks include the monitoring of the dairy production. Twice a day, 600 cows are milked in rotation in order to produce 17 tons of milk.
Before I moved to the area, I didn't think that something like that could work. But if it works in industry, why not in agriculture? We used to have blacksmiths in every village. Now we have steel mills. It's the same thing.
Agriculture cooperatives in the former GDR are plentiful. Here, animals and cereal production is distributed over several sites. We meet Matthias Busser a few kilometers away. He is in charge of the farming land. At the end of winter, they begin to prepare 2,200 hectares for land for seed, corn and cereals. It is a huge task that requires a big investment.
The huge technical cost is what forces us to expand. There has to be a certain amount of hectares. For example, we need to buy another one of these wheel loaders soon. They cost 120,000 euros each.
In Germany, subsidies depend mainly on the size of the farms. This benefits the heirs of the communist kolkhozes. But farmers also learn to diversify their activities to take advantage of investment incentives and the development of renewable energies. The price of the electricity generated by this solar panel is guaranteed for 20 years and allows for all-important fixed incomes. This stall houses the Charolais. It's the pride of Matthias Busser and Reinhard Schlipper, but only generates a small part of their income. The pressure of mass distribution today forces them to produce in high quantities.
Of course, the Germans like to eat and drink as much as anyone else, but they are often not prepared to pay much for it. That's affected production and also trade a bit. The abattoirs and dairies have to produce very cheaply.
As a result, Germany's exports doubled in 10 years to 65 billion euros in 2013. But this strategy has its drawbacks. The concentration of large agricultural farms in the east of the country and in Lower Saxony has led to numerous abuses. The intensive rearing of pigs and low wages in slaughterhouses regularly hits the headlines. And the industrialization of the sector has had adverse effects on the environment.
Many areas needed for agriculture have become unusable, which means we have less space for biodiversity. And at the same time, for example in the hills, we have a disastrous situation where businesses cannot survive.
Germany currently has 300,000 farms. According to the German Federation of Farmers, half of them will be gone in the next 10 years. Facing the steamroller of industrial agriculture, only the large ones have a chance to survive.
You're watching live from Paris. It's time now for web news, and we kick things off with a tour of the luxurious estate of the ousted Ukrainian president, Viktor Yanukovych.
A garage with dozens, hundreds even, of vintage cars and motorbikes. Contrary to what one might think, this isn't footage from an automobile museum. We're looking at Viktor Yanukovych's luxury country estate, and the images were filmed on Saturday, just a few hours before the Ukrainian president was removed from power. A number of videos have been posted online attesting to the incredible discoveries inside this sprawling property in the suburbs of Kiev. Walking around the grounds, Ukrainians were left open-mouthed by the fallen president's very own gas station, golf course, and not to mention the tropical greenhouses and private zoo, complete with farm animals and some exotic species like ostriches. Another totally unexpected find in Yanukovych's abandoned home, the replica galleon floating on an artificial lake. As we can see from this video, which has been doing the rounds on sharing sites, some were able to get inside the vast ship with its sumptuous decor and well-stocked cellar. And in addition to these jaw-dropping discoveries, those who actually went inside the former head of state's house were able to gather numerous documents, although some were fished out of water. Yanukovych and his entourage had evidently been trying to destroy the paperwork, which included suspicious-looking invoices, as well as the names and photos of government opponents deemed to pose a threat, like members of Femen, for example. Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was arrested on Saturday and has been trending on social media platforms since, with web users hailing the news. Mexico's president, Enrique Peña Nieto, for example, has praised the police and all those involved in capturing the infamous drug dealer, who's been on the run for the past 13 years. And social networkers across the country are calling for exemplary punishment for the now former head of the Sinaloa cartel. The Ratopia restaurant map available on the Gothamist website shows restaurants across New York City according to the likelihood of spotting a rat or a mouse there. Journalist Steve Melendez took health department inspection data from January 2013 onwards and counted the number of restaurants where evidence of rats or mice had been reported. And you may never want to eat out again, as the map highlights that whether you head to Brooklyn, the Bronx or Manhattan, there is at least a 20% probability that there's a rodent on the premises. 24-year-old Jake Lockett has really progressed as an artist over the years, and you can see just how much on the British Artist website, where he's exhibiting drawings from age 2 and upwards. The collection's called Drawing Progression and showcases characters dreamt up during his childhood to the more surrealist style of his adult years. In this astonishing video, we see Italian catwalk model Roberta Mancino and several base jumpers hurtling down a mountainside in evening attire. The clip is available on the GoPro YouTube channel and takes high fashion to a whole new level.
We're going to go to a short break now. When we come back, I'll have the headlines for you, and I'll be joined by Mark Thompson for some music news, including that news of Pharrell Williams releasing a new album soon. Stay tuned for that and plenty more.